Hello, y'all. My name is Brianna Little, and today I'm here with
Terry Little.
Terry Little, my wonderful mother. Wonderful mother. How are you doing today?
I'm wonderful. I'm glad that you're home.
Yeah.
Spring break, she came home to see your mom. Awesome.
Awesome. Today, we're just going to have a short little talk about relationships. I'm 20.
I'm 57.
57, so we've got a lot of wisdom to be
Yes.
shared here today.
Been in relationships, divorced.
Been in relationships, divorced. I'm learning relationships. I'm starting them, setting boundaries, learning new things every day. So I think we're just going to have a little conversation about that. So tell us about your marriage, your 20
I
plus
was
years.
20 plus years marriage. Married my best friend. And I just think that over time, we just wanted different things out of relationships. We're not the same people we were when we were 26 than we are when we were, 55. Still very good friends with your dad.
Right.
Keep saying my husband, but that's your father.
Right,
your
right.
Still very good friends with him. We co-parent very well. We have you and your brother who's 34. And that was another thing. I learned a lot. Things to do better with you than I did I had your brother when he was 34.
Right. What give me one thing?
Oh, gosh. One thing I think I learned is that to let you do things on your own, let you explore and do things. I don't have to mother so much as I did before.
Sometimes maybe you have to let them fall.
Got to let them fall and
Let
crack
them
your
learn.
head.
Yeah.
Crack your head open and learn from that.
Yeah. I think it's just your instinct you see them fall and you want to put the pillow there or brace the fall, So I think that's just kind of motherly instinct.
But I learned how to kind of let go this time around. It's still hard as a mother.
Right,
It's still
right.
hard to do. But when your brother used to say, "Mom, I'm hungry," I jump up and let me fix something to eat. Now you say, "Mom, I'm hungry." I'm like, go in there. There's
It's
food
something
in
in
the kitchen. There's food in the kitchen. Go get you something.
Right.
Do it yourself.
Right. So from your 20, how many years was it exactly you were married?
I want to say, let's say 25.
25 years?
Yeah, let's say 25.
What was one of the lessons you learned throughout that whole process?
Gosh, one lessons I've learned is to... Oh, that's a tough question because
Yeah.
there's so many lessons. So, what is the lesson that?
Well,
you
let's
wanna share?
specify. What's one that you learned through that relationship that you're kind of wanting to instill in me now that I'm starting my relationships?
Maybe not accept things that you know are not right. Things that you know that you should not accept or you don't like or it devalues you or it makes you feel bad. You don't like the way it feels, but you accept it and you go along with it. That's the one thing I would say. Not accept that things, because oftentimes if you accept things initially, that's going to be the thing that will continue on.
And I think a lot of girls in my generation, I think we look at potential. That's what we focus on a lot of times when we're in a relationship. This guy may not be who he is, who I see him to be, who I want him to be, but I see the potential. I see how hard he's working. I want this for him. So I think girls in my generation, we might put up with a lot of things to start off based off potential that
And
we
you
see.
think that's right? You think that's working? I don't know if I totally agree with that, because how do you know someone's potential?
I mean, I think, one, it's what we want for them. We want him to be this. We want him to go
what you
here.
want.
Right. And in some cases, we can see that they're putting the work in, to become a better man, a better person. But no, I don't think it's right.
Yeah.
I think what somebody's showing you in the moment is what you take them for.
And that's how I said you got to reflect and put the mirror. Just say, if someone said that about you, I see a lot of potential. But then they got to accept you for who you are today.
Right.
Knowing that you're going to change. Just like I said with me and your father, we changed. When we became 50, we weren't the same people we were when we were 26.
Right.
So are you going to like this person if they never change? if they never change, if they are who they are, are you happy with that?
Right.
You have to ask yourself that.
Yeah. One thing that I've been kind of thinking about now, being 20 and being in college, people, this is the time to date. This is the time to figure out what you like, what you don't like.
Yeah.
Did you think that when you and my dad got married, did you have that all figured out? What you liked, what you wanted, what you didn't want in a relationship?
I don't know if I say had it all figured out, but no, I knew what I liked. I knew your dad was, I would consider my best friend. One thing that was important to me, he made me laugh. That was important, to be with someone who's my friend. So on those days where I really don't even like you,
right,
we still had something other than this outwardly, I think you're fine, I think you're attractive, because God forbid something could happen and the beauty fades. Do you no longer love me anymore?
Right.
Or I'm no longer a size 4. Are we not together anymore?
Right.
So it was something that you had to have, something that was not just surface, but something a little deeper.
And what do you think are some other values that are important in a foundation for a relationship? For you, it was having someone who could lift your spirit, someone who could make you laugh. What are some other characteristics in a man that you think are important? Besides the outwardly things, financial, how much money does he have? Does he look good?
Yeah.
But what are some good characteristics to have to build a good foundation for a relationship?
I think that it's important to be with someone who makes you feel safe. And when I say safe, not safe physically, you feel that protector. They make me feel safe.
Yeah.
But also, when I say safe, I mean safe in being able to be who you are. I'm safe with being who I am with all my flaws. I'm perfectly imperfect, and I feel safe with that, and I don't have to pretend to be a certain way or speak a certain way or always look a certain way. Because that morning, when you wake up in the morning, sometimes you're not at your best.
Right. Still got the morning breath.
Yeah, you don't have that full face.
Eye boogers in your eyes.
Your face ain't beat.
Right.
So someone, I think, that makes you feel safe in all, and physically as well as emotionally, and also I think something's very important is that someone who's equally yoked. And I think when we hear equally yoked, we always think spiritual, and I do mean spiritually, but also equally yoked in what they value. If we value some of the same things, because if you're gonna build a life with a person, and we have children, I think that's important, that we have to have a commonality in certain things on how we want to raise our children. So equally yoked, but not only spiritually. But spiritually is important.
Do you think equally yoked and opposites attract kind of fight against each other in a way?
No, I won't. I would say,
because can we be opposites but still equally yoked?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so. I could be Sunday morning kind of girl, and you a Saturday night kind of guy.
Right.
But we're still equally low. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's fair. I could be an introvert, morning, you could be an extrovert, but we balance.
But we balance each other out in those times where we go places, and I'm usually an introvert and not going to say something. This person could maybe pull that out of me and make me be more outwardly friendly with people and talkative, when normally I wouldn't be. Yeah.
One topic that I wanted to touch on, I feel like now, especially in this generation, there's a lot of men versus women. Men ain't worth nothing, or women ain't worth nothing. And I think specifically there's a fight between black men and women. Where I don't need him, or I don't need her. I don't need a man. I don't need a woman. Where do you think that stems from? What's your opinion on that?
Well, one, I don't believe it.
Right.
One, I don't believe that I don't need a man, or I'm not in that camp. I believe that it stems from, go back to your question, is that I think, especially as Black women, we have been labeled as being strong, independent, not needing a man. And that's not a label that we've given ourselves. That has been a label that's been put on us.
Right.
I think, I don't know if I'm in the minority or not, but I think we don't always want to be strong and we don't always want to be independent. But through a lot of different reasons, we've been forced to be that way. So it's not something that we want to be.
Right.
And over time, when you've had to be independent or strong or whatever word we want to use, it's kind of hard to move away from that and just kind of turn it off. And so I think that's where that battle comes between men and women, where we've done it for so long and sometimes we don't know any other way to be.
Yeah.
And then when we try to, there's this thing going around that I'm in my soft era.
Yeah, soft girl era. Yeah.
My soft girl era. Yeah. And that's a challenge to do that when you've been a certain way because you've had to be, and now you want to transition to that. It's not always an easy transition.
One aspect of that Black men versus Black women thing, I think it also plays a role in how we're raised. I think a lot of Black women are teaching their Black daughters, you got to get it for yourself.
Yeah.
You've got to be independent. A lot of Black mothers are showing their daughters, hey, I did it without a man, so can you. So I think that also, that foundation is being put into our young Black women nowadays, making them now harder for them to get into their soft era because they've seen their mom be independent. They've seen their mom be a go-getter, do it all by themselves. So that's been instilled in them as well. And I think Black men see that. And so they're like, oh, can't get with a Black woman. She's going to be trying to boss me around and wear the pants and stuff like that. So I think it definitely comes in from the foundation of how people are raised.
Absolutely. And I think not only that, but just everything that you do and probably who you are as a woman is going to be because of how you were raised and how you saw me as a woman. And I think that's why we as parents, be Black, white, blue, or brown, that we have to be mindful when we're raising girls. There's an old saying that says, we love our boys, but we raise our girls. Yeah, and I think in some extent that's true.
I think so.
Yeah, and I'm guilty of that. I can say that I'm guilty of that as well.
Even with the Timothy says, I'm hungry, Ma.
Yeah,
but you tell me something in the freezer, you better put them wings in the air fryer or something.
Yeah, I'm guilty of that. So I have to check myself on that as well. But also I try to, even now, as being a divorced mother and co-parent with your dad, I try to let you know that I don't have to do this by myself. You got two parents,
right?
I don't have to carry the load. Talk to your dad about it,
right?
And, so I hope that you see that you don't have to be that woman that has to do everything yourself. You deserve to be treated like, as your dad always say, you're the princess. And then you're going to become the queen.
Right.
I'm the queen now.
Right.
But you're the princess.
Right. My time's coming. My time's coming.
Your time's coming, but it's not there. I'm
still the queen.
I'm still the queen. You're the princess.
Put some respect on your name.
That's right. But you should be treated as such.
Right.
And I like the fact that even though you come from you're part of a divorced family, that your father has always treated you like that princess that you are.
And that's how I was going to close this out.
Okay.
Although, we've, as a family, we've been through a lot. Mm-hmm. We've struggled, trials and tribulations. Yeah. I can say that, one, to speak on my father, he's always shown me how a woman should be treated. Yeah. Even if it had not been through me,
yeah.
yes. father-daughter, daddy-daughter dates when I was young, opening all the doors for me, showing me off on social media, you know.
Valentine's Day.
Right.
You got Valentine's Day deals when I didn't get to go out on Valentine's Day.
Right.
He's out with you.
Right.
Yeah.
So, in that instance, you know, I've always been shown how a man should court a woman.
Yes.
And from you, I've definitely, maybe we've talked about this maybe a little bit too much in the independence and the, you know, do it yourself. You and I both are trying to step into our soft era.
I am.
But I do appreciate, you know, you just showing me how a woman should carry herself. What she should and should not put up with, you know, so I do appreciate that. Again, we've been through a lot as a family, but I've learned so much from y'all's dynamic, even being divorced, you know, showing that you still have a friendship, you still love each other. We may not be married, but there's always love there.
Yes.
And you still show me how a healthy partnership should move after not even being married. So I do really, really appreciate that. And I know that a lot of the things that we talk about and we go through are going to help me in my future marriage and my future partnerships that I have. So I am grateful for just the two parents that I have, you know.
Well, good. And we
Can't
love
complain.
you. Keep learning. You're going to learn. You're going to make some mistakes. It's not going to be perfect. You're going to make some mistakes. But just keep learning. Keep putting yourself first and know that you're worthy of so much more. And don't settle for anything less that you're worthy of.
Yes, ma'am. Well, Mom, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast.
Yeah, I like this. We have to do this more often.
Yeah, most definitely. I love you guys. It's Brianna Little checking out. Deuces.
And in the words of the illustrious Russell Simmons, thank you and good night.
And good night.
Good night.
Period.